Hey guys, I'm back. I'm going to be doing my February TBR today as well, and I'll be hopefully posting these very shortly after each other. My book review and this February TBR. So, I'll get right into it. I do a Bookopoly kind of thing that I saw from Becca. Becca in the Books, I believe is her screen name, but Becca's Bookopoly. My board is not as pretty as hers, so I'm not going to show you it. It's horrible, honestly. I just like playing it. And so you'll just have to believe me. I do have this right here. So I will be trying to do this in order, but I really should have spread these out earlier. Hopefully I can figure out how to cut this scene out. If not, I'm sorry. Okay, so the first thing I rolled for was a retelling, and I chose As Old as Time by Liz Braswell. It is a twisted tale. This story is basically, what if Belle's mother was the one who cursed the beast? That is the premise of this book. I have 4 of the twisted tales. I have completed 2 of them and love them. I have another one that I've started and just kind of put down because I wasn't interested in it. So I hope I love this one as well. Okay. Then I kind of rolled and I picked traveling, and so the book I picked for this, I'm sorry, it's such in bad condition. I moved a lot and the movers did not really take care of books. But The Little Paris Bookshop by Nina George. This is a book about a man named Monsieur Perdue, and he is a literary apothecary. So basically what he does is he will talk to you and he'll kind of get the sense of what kind of mood you're in and like how your emotions are going and what your life is like, and then he will recommend a book based on that. And so basically, instead of prescribing medicine, he prescribes books for the hardships of life. So he can heal a lot of people, but the only person he cannot heal is himself. And he is haunted by this heartbreak, and he ends up reading, so the woman he loved left him a letter, and he ends up reading it, and then he goes on, I guess on a mission to South of France, is how this starts with it, and he ends up going there, and that seems to be the plot of this book. Okay, then I chose a sci-fi, and I chose Saturn Run by John Sanford, and there's also a second person. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name, but it's spelled C-T-E-I-N. If you know how to pronounce it, please leave it in a comment down below. I don't know what this book is about. I do know it's a sci-fi. I picked this up. I don't know if it didn't come with a dust jacket or if the dust jacket was ruined or whatever, but I picked this up without it, so I can't even tell you. Then I rolled for Big Book. Who did not see that coming. The Fate of the Dwarves by Marcus Heights is the book I chose for this one. It is my second big book of this TBR. And this book, I can't tell you, this book is the 4th in his series, the Dwarves series, but the premise of the whole series is the world building is a little like Tolkien's work, as in there is these evil forces and there are these good forces, and you have dwarves and you have elves and you have all of them. You don't have hobbits, and you also have another race called the Alfar, which are like evil elves. This is the 4th book in the series. I can't tell you much about it without spoiling the other 3 books, but you follow this character named Tungdale, who was abandoned as a child, and he is a dwarf. So he's a dwarf that lives among humans, and he does not know which group of dwarves he belongs to, and he ends up going on this mission because he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, basically. Then I rolled for a romance, and I chose Frankly in Love by David Yoon. I know this follows a Korean American named Frank Lee, and he, despite being practically American and doesn't know any Korean, his parents want him to marry a nice Korean girl, but he falls in love with this girl who is obviously not Korean named Britt, and then I believe I've heard someone else say this, but I didn't see in the synopsis, but I believe he ends up fake dating this Korean girl who also wants to date a boy who is dating a boy her parents wouldn't approve of. Okay. Then I did a contemporary, and I chose to read Dear Edward by Anne Napolitano. It is one of my Book of the Month subscription books. I haven't read many of these, so I'm trying to. I read one and I enjoyed it okay. Another one I DNF'd, and this one, I think this one's a contemporary. I don't really know. This one follows Edward Adler, and when he is 12 years old, his family gets on this plane that ends up crashing, and so I think this is a story, I guess, throughout the plane and then crash and then also afterwards. So we'll see. Then I got travel. Oh wait, no. Then I got reread, and oh my gosh, this book is not here. Oh, be right back. Okay. Sorry. I've already started this one, and this is Eon by Allison Goodman. It is a reread for me. I know some people don't like it. I enjoy it, so I have started this one. I listened to it on my ride back from my house. This one follows a girl named Iona who wants to be a Dragon Eye apprentice, but the problem is she is a girl, and girls are not allowed to be it. So it's kind of basically what this is about. She's a girl pretending to be a boy so she can become this Dragon Eye apprentice because she is very the magic comes easily to her. So I guess that there are some other things, and I know more about this, but I don't want to spoil too much, so there's that. Then I got travel, and I chose Raven by Cami Garcia, also illustrated by Gabriel Piccolo. And I have actually already read this one because I needed something short and fluffy to read. Not really fluffy, but short to read, and through one day in January, and so I've already read it, but if I find time I might reread it in February. Probably won't. This one follows Raven from the Teen Titans, and she is living with her foster mom, and then there's a fatal car accident. Her foster mom dies, and she doesn't remember anything, and so she's moved to New Orleans, and then basically she's trying to figure out what's going on. Then I wrote for a YA, and I said Songs from the Deep by Kelly Powell, and this one follows a girl named Mora Alexander, and she has always been fascinated by these sirens, and so she will go to the beach at the edge of the water and play her violin to them, and I think they sing back to her. But a young boy is found dead, and so everyone believes the siren does it, but Mora believes that they are being framed, and so she kind of enlists the help of the lighthouse keeper named Jude or Osric, who was also a friend that I guess she just kind of lost connection to. Then I got Big Book again, and so I chose The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. And this is the second book in the Mistborn trilogy, so again, I can't tell you much about this one without spoiling the first one, but this follows a girl named Finn who is a street rat, and she has these magical abilities. And so their magic system is based on metals, and if you ingest these metals, you can do certain things with them, and depending on which ones you can use, you are called a specific, a term, and if you can use all of them, you're called a Mistborn, and so Van is actually a Mistborn. The kind of simplified version of saying what this magic system is like Avatar: The Last Airbender with the earth, fire, water, air, and then the avatar can use all of them. there are also people who can't use any of them in both of them, so there's that. Then I got a nonfiction book, and I chose All Things Bright and Beautiful by James Herriot. This book is about this vet from Yorkshire, and these are basically just little stories about what he's done and what he's gone through. This is technically a sequel, but you don't have to read these books in any order. And then I rolled for sci-fi, and so I chose to pick up the only Star Trek book I have, which is Star Trek Doctor's Order by Diane Duane. This is basically Dr. McCoy grumbles once too often about the way the Enterprise ought to be run. Captain Kirk decides to leave the Doctor in command while he oversees a routine diplomatic mission. Kirk beams down to a strange planet nicknamed Flyspeck to negotiate its admission into the Federation, leaving Dr. McCoy to enjoy his new authority. However, the Doctor soon learns that command is a double-edged sword when Kirk disappears without a trace. Desperately trying to locate his captain, McCoy comes under pressure from Starfleet to resolve the situation immediately. Matters go from bad to worse when the Klingons arrive and stake their own claim on Flyspeck. Then another, more deadly power threatens them all, and suddenly Dr. McCoy and the Enterprise find themselves pitted against an alien fleet in a battle they have no hope of winning. I'm pretty sure I mispronounced Klingons, but there's that. And the final book I got, I landed on travel a lot, guys. Oh, my book's on. It was travel, and I chose The Light at the Bottom of the World by London Shaw. This one takes place in London, but it's London in the last days of the 21st century. London has been flooded, and so sea creatures swim through the ruins of London, and the humankind kind of are trapped in an abyss, and they waver between fear and hope. And there is this marathon that's set out every year, I believe. Yes, and so when 16-year-old submersible racer Leia McQueen is chosen to participate in the city's prestigious annual marathon, she sees an opportunity to save her father, who has been arrested on false charges. The Prime Minister promises the champion whatever their heart desires, but the race takes an unexpected turn, forcing Layla to make an impossible choice. Now she must brave unfathomable waters and defy a corrupt government determined to keep its secrets, and all the while dealing with a guarded, hot-headed companion she never asked for in the first place. If Layla fails to discover the truth at the heart of her world, or falls prey to her own fears, she risks capture or worse, and her father will be lost to her forever. So those are the books that are officially on my TBR. However, I believe I am 5 books behind schedule on my Goodreads goal, so I will be probably adding more books to that. So that is what I have going on for February. So I'll talk to y'all next time.